Yo, 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 yo. I already know what it is, man. Skywalker the Jedi tapping in with y'all today. Okay? Y'all see the headline. Y'all see what we talking about. Um, Today gonna be very, very interesting. All right. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. My man Zod Ryder in the building. What's going on, bro? Already know what it is, Brody. I saw you live a little earlier, you know what I'm saying? And got me to thinking. I was like, yo, I gotta tap in, man. I gotta let Zod know that we got your back, man. They can try to attack you and try to release information and all that stuff, man. All that shows is that you're doing something right. You know what I'm saying? And all of us, we love you over here, and we ain't about to be just letting people come over here and just try to dox you or whatever. No, 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 no. You know, much love to all you guys, man. Sickness, you know what I'm saying? You already know, bro. You already know what it is. TBC, bad channel. You already know what it is. You already know. Much love to all you guys, man. Bad Dan said the replies to Zod Ryder's recent comments alone prove this point. We about to get into all that, yo. We about to get into all that. Double MJ, what's going on? What's going on? You know, hey, even shout out to RJ. RJ just popped in the chat. We about to we about to get to it. Zod says, "I love you all. These people are crazy." Yo, man, it's been it's been a while. It's been a wild couple days, yo. It's been a wild couple days. It's especially gotten a lot wilder since the Oscars have happened, right? Obviously, we know why that is. Zach's name came up in a big way twice on Oscars night, and pretty much the haters been hating, but hey, we're gonna get to it, yo. We're gonna get to it. What up, Frank C? I see you. Look, but let's get into it, yo. I want to talk about why I believe that the anti-Zack Snyder crowd, right? And I'm gonna wrap this all up. I promise I am, right? The anti-Zack Snyder crowd, I believe, have been much more toxic um, than the release the Snyder Cut movement, or the restore the Snyderverse movement this entire time. And this has pretty much been like an ongoing thing from its inception. And I'm gonna break down why. Look, RJ said, yeah, Zod did not deserve any of that. It's just his opinion. I may disagree, but that doesn't give anyone an excuse to harass or bully people. People got to realize these are just movies. Chill out. I agree. You got to chill. Can't be, what I'm saying, tagging people, putting people's stuff on the internet and all that. It's just, it's gone too far. But, and hey, prime example. But look, let's get to it, Joe. I want to talk about, when I first got involved with this fandom back in 2016, right? Part of it that we all had to go through back then, what the Batman fans have been having to go through recently, is that everybody didn't like our movie when BBS came out, right? And during that time frame, there were so many people being attacked, right, for just liking that movie, right? We had to learn very quickly that not everybody was fans of what Zach was doing, right? Especially with the theatrical cut, which I can't even really blame everybody for not being fans of the theatrical cut. I had a pretty casual fan that was actually with me when I saw the movie, and she felt like the editing was all over the place, and I can't really fault her for feeling that way, right? I saw BBS 4 times in theaters, so I kind of could see through what was really going on and what Zach was really trying to do. Look, Desire says, RJ, I really appreciated your comment. It's fine to respectfully di- disagree, and that is the absolute truth. But I understood, why a lot of the casual fans, might not have necessarily like been super jacked about the theatrical cut of BVS, right? Because it was more problematic than the ultimate edition was. So, but what you didn't have, um, like it felt like constructive criticism at that time. A lot of these things were just, you know, tones about, oh, it's way too dark and right. Um, if we all remember that tweet, Batman versus Superman is going to be a 2 hour tracking shot of every DC superhero crying in the rain, right? If you guys recall, the bots and stuff was like putting those tweets out like crazy, but the a lot of the criticisms levied at BVS weren't towards like specific things with the film. It seemed like it was like, oh, about the tone and Zack and his personal choices, right? Just like his personality, right? These were a lot of the things that were being kind of like attacked when um we were just saying that, hey, we kind of liked this movie. Then once the ultimate version came out, you already know, like, we were even more, emboldened, and we felt like, hey, you know, um, yo, this is exactly what we were trying to tell you guys was there from the jump, right? Like, hey, look, now this movie makes much more sense, right? Like, I really feel like the ultimate edition of that movie really like silenced everybody because it pretty much like handled every single criticism that was levied at Batman versus Superman that seemed kind of credible, right? Like, hey, why is Superman feeling this way, right? So it delved into a bit more why Clark was actually feeling like Bruce was such a problem, and um, it really took away all of the negative things that people were, kind of being able to say about BBS, right? So, um, once that happened, you have this time period of like while Justice League is being shot, and you have people that are being like adamant, like, hey, they don't want this dude doing Justice League, and oh my God, his characters are too dark, and the Martha scene or whatever. Um, Double MJ says, make no mistake, Zack Snyder haters are the ones that started this in the first place. I have no respect and no sympathy at all for these losers at all. Ooh, excuse me, especially when they try to play the victim. I agree. Sigma says, I loved BVS in theaters. That shit was still tight. It was a dope ass experience. I took my dad and my brother, and we all loved it. Yo, I agree, yo. The criticism of the haters made for Man of Steel and BVS were beyond. Yeah, yo, I agree wholeheartedly, yo. Like anybody that's questioning, my like, yo, I drove from Las Vegas all the way to Hollywood to go watch that movie at the Chinese theater. Like, yo, you can't question that. But yo, Zai said he saw it 7 times. Yo, it was that, and I was not, and not only did I love the movie, right, but I also understood that it was important for this movie to do well financially, right? Which that's something that these other Batman fans don't seem to understand, right? If you want to sit there and have your thing be lauded, right, and you like, you're gonna have to spend the money, you know. Like, what up, Koopy Malik? Um, but you guys want to just sit there and complain. Look, let's get back. So you have this frame of time, right? While Justice League is being shot, and you know, before Zach kind of gets ousted, right? Where you have all these people that are clamoring, saying, "Hey, these movies are way too dark and this, and they're too serious, and you know, why is Superman so serious, and why are they fighting, and I don't like this, and right." I mean, just trying to pretty much like marvelize this entire thing, um, but also being very toxic about it at the same time towards people that were fans of this stuff. I mean, yo, like we got attacked, yo. Anybody that was online at that point that was showing any kind of like real support for liking what Zach was doing with these characters were attacked. Just like Zod was the other day. All for liking a movie, right? Like this is the inception of all of this stuff. This is the inception of us, like, trying to fight back and really, get behind release the Snyder Cut because we were just fans of this man's vision, right? And we were willing to talk about it, right? And we were willing to spend money on his projects, right? So all this all this stuff is going on, and then it leads up to the point where Zach, is famously kind of ousted from Warner Brothers, right? Um, Double MJ said, "I love BBS when it first came out in theaters, still do, and I love the Ultimate Edition even more." I loved it, yo. Like I said, saw it 4 times. I just felt like once the UE came out, it was no reason for me to watch the theatrical, so I haven't really watched it since. But yo, I love those movies. I'm like, it's unequivocal. I don't care who knows. Question says, "Spit that fire." Appreciate you, question. You know what I'm saying? Yo, all day, all day. Zod said, "If you don't like the Batman or you compare it to any other movies and don't think it's the best movie of all time, you are attacked by the Battinson mob." That is facts, yo. Koopy says it's the goat kneel before his eyes. But so yeah, like when it got to the point where Zach is finally kind of like ousted, from Warner Brothers, and Josh kind of brought in, right, and we start to understand the full gravity of the entire situation, right, and then as soon as that happens, you start hearing like Autumn Snyder jokes and jokes about like suicide and jokes about him having like an Asian daughter, right? And like all these things come immediately, right? Because these people didn't like his take on some superheroes. This stuff happened, right? You had check marks that was, saying whatever they were saying, right? And doing whatever they was doing, right? And making jokes. But these things happen. And this, like I said, this is the beginning of all this stuff. This is before there is any release to Snyder Cut. We didn't even know that there was a Snyder Cut. So immediately after that, right? Um, some of us, myself included, I was kind of, towing that company line for WB. I really thought they were bringing in Joss Whedon to, come in and just button up that movie. I did not believe there was any way possible they were going to, redo the whole thing in 5 months. I thought that sounded absolutely ludicrous, you know. And when I saw the movie, you know, I was greeted with the monstrosity that was Superman's face. But you know, and then even before the movie came out, right, when you started to be able to see the tonal shifts, kind of, right, and how they were brightening up everything, and how some of the posters started to look, right, you started having people kind of then like, oh man, like, you know, once again, they were trying to, you know, uplift Joss Whedon, right? And kind of like tear at Zack. Oh, yeah, this is because Joss is here, right? This is why we're getting color now, right? And, you know, all these other things, just like little weird stuff. So then after the movie comes out, and then you have this big divide because even some of us in the fandom that liked it at first, you know, I can understand because, you know, there's a whole PTSD that's really surrounding these movies, and, you know, people cope in different ways, right? You know, but um, even people that kind of liked it, they were, you know, kind of still a little down on it, right? And just while this is going on, there's all these things being said, and just pushback to us not liking the way that, you know, the Justice League movie kind of turned out, right? Um, Look, Double MJ says basically in their hypocritical minds, it's okay to attack Snyder's movies, Snyder himself and his fans that like his movies, but the moment Snyder fans criticize movies they like, they're toxic. Absolutely. Kaz brings up a great point. Even Whedon reshoot had a suicide joke when Superman says, "I want to die," in a jokey way, laughing it off. Imagine a director who left his movie after his daughter's suicide, then including a joke like that. Yo, this is what I have been saying. Like, there have been and this has been pushed by WB. Absolutely 1000%, right? Like, I've seen enough mobilized like fake outrage but you know, by now, to know that this was probably coming from WB back then, right? If you look at the toxic way that they have behaved um before the Snyder cut came out, after it got announced, right, and then after it ended up being released, it's been completely toxic behavior, right? So why would I think that this back then wasn't coming from them too? Like, there's been a chain of behavior from then until now, and the inception of it was us liking Zack's take on these movies, right? We wouldn't have gotten this far if the fandom was just toxic, or even if it was, you know, because look, let me go back. See, look, I want to highlight this because this guy is always trying to get my attention. So look, even Anthony Chessman back here, right? This guy, um, I don't believe that both sides are equally toxic. I do not believe that at all, right? I think that if you look at it, you know, we wouldn't have gotten this far if we had been that toxic. And um, if you look at what we're actually doing, we have been doing nothing but pouring into Zack and this fandom because we love him and his projects, and we love the family, right? You know, everything. We are pouring into Zack, right? Even people that are, even just by definition, if you are anti that, you are anti people pouring in love into other people. right? Like every time, like since then, um, things that don't even have to do with anything that we might even be talking about, right? Just like this guy Anthony Chessman, he's obsessed with the Batman box office, right? I don't even have to be talking about the Batman box office. I don't have to be talking about the Batman period. But yet the conversation is always brought back to that. The same thing with Snyder, right? If you look at a lot of these comments that was coming from some of these Batman fans or the Batman fans, excuse me, let me clarify. Um, these guys walked out of the theater and immediately started comparing the Batman to Zack Snyder. When in reality, you should have been comparing it to Christopher Nolan, right? Um, just from the beginning, at every point, there has been like a obsession with our feelings as a fandom. We're the cool people. We're the ones that are. We're making all of the moves. Every time there is anything to be won, we win. Anytime there's anything to be won, we win. These guys look at us, we get stuff done, we're donating money, we changing lives, it's like, yo, we have created a like real family and like a real community feeling, you know. And just when I look at the things that are being said, right, and the assumptions that have been being made and the logic loopholes that have been being gone through, it just baffles me, right? We ain't even gonna get into the Islamophobe. I could do a whole show upon how like I've seen so many like jokes about Islam just because people feel like a certain section of our fandom come from that region of the world or like from the Middle East, and they try to say that like that's where we're all from, that's what we all do. Oh, it's just a bunch of brown people, and like even if it what is wrong with that? Like it's crazy. Max, look, says both sides are definitely not equally toxic. It's like, how can anyone think joking about a deceased daughter is equal to anything? And that's my point. Like, but those things don't matter, right? Those things don't matter. Even when some people that are in our fandom get a little out of line, it's usually because somebody said something to them. See, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit there and like, you know, throw a rock and then hide my hand when the teacher starts to look. Like, no, that's not cool. That's what a bunch of you guys do. Like, you guys try to bully people and you make these jokes, and then when people react you want to cry and be like, oh my god, the Snyder code is coming after me. You guys can't take a joke. Like, you got, it's just, look, fans and fans are the most toxic fandom I've ever seen so far. Even on posts online and Facebook and Twitter, they insult anyone who likes the Snyderverse, even when the post has nothing to do with them. I was just saying, there's people that comment about the Batman box office on videos that have nothing to do with the Batman or the Batman box office whatsoever. But because of my um, participation in Clapback Saturday, right? Everybody is like, oh, like, everything that's selling them. Oh, and let's just clear this up too, right? Sil and Mikey, especially Mikey, said the entire time it was going to be 80 to 100 million, and it could go up to 120 if the word of mouth was good, right? Where did it end up at? Just over 120, pretty much. Like, yo, you guys are just, you just fishing for these L's, and you know, you are the ones that end up taking them, right? I just don't understand why you guys keep, you know, getting caught in this time loop. Army of Dead reference. The question says, Zack showed everyone how Superman would actually be treated by the society, which is 1,000% facts. Showed us Superman going through immigrant experience, 1,000% facts. The bloggers couldn't handle it and expose themselves. Snyder is a genius. Absolutely. Zod's, look, yep, people attack Hamad all the time. It's disgusting. Absolutely. Like, yo, I've seen some of the most disgusting stuff thrown at Hamad. Battinson fans are racist, especially towards Indian people. I see it all the time. I I can't imagine that they yep. Steel City Superman says, "What's up? What up, Steel City? Max Power to you, sorry, yo. Much respect to you as well." No, but I've just been seeing these things this entire time, right? So you're getting called, you know, like brown and all this stuff just because you like a movie, just because you like Zack Snyder's take on superheroes, right? So this is nothing new. And the entire time that we've been going through this thing, these fans that have been opposite to what we want, because that's really what this is. That's why all these people are just really anti-Zack. All these Battinson stands that are coming over here, it's because Matt Reeves is the Batman, like equates a new beginning to them, right? They don't want us to keep amassing these W's and keep winning and keep talking our talk, right? And so at the end of the day, they're just gonna keep um being against whatever we're for. And so since we're for Zack, anything that represents anti to whatever we got going on, they're gonna be all there for it, right? And they've shown no low that they're not willing to go to elicit a reaction, pretty much. Yo, Necron here for the support. Love you, love you, love you. You know what I'm saying? Look, Cass says it's shown the Man of Steel then praised Superman and Lois when it borrowed so heavily from Snyder's version. Absolutely. Which, and another thing is so weird, right? Like, isn't this toxic? Wouldn't you guys say that this is toxic, right? That they complained for years about how dark and brooding and right and how sad Affleck, sad Batman, yo, they really sat there and like trolled us for years and really let Matt Reeves go uber dark. He went gangrel. I'm sorry. Shout out, to the old WWE fans with Gangrel. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's crazy. Like, I just don't understand how that was so wrong with what we were liking. And then you get this version that goes like off the deep end with that same concept, right? And then this is getting praised. JIP says anti-Snyder fans are the ones who start most of the arguments most of the time. They see someone support Snyder and they instantly start throwing insults. And once Snyder fans clap back, they're called toxic. Absolutely. Like, I feel it, yo. I feel it. Look, So dude said Skywalker on the couch, yo, look, I'm loving it, yo, I'm loving it. This is a beautiful thing. We about to go off the top rope, No, but it's just like this entire time, um, we just seen these people act this way, all because we liked a damn movie, and then turn around and try to call us toxic, right? So that's why with this Battinson thing, I feel like it's reached such a new high, right? Because if you guys think about it, right, we won. We got the Snyder cut released, right? Um, the merger's happening, right? They know that look, they can sit there and be like, oh, you guys aren't gonna be able to do this and it's not happening, right? And whatever. But look, deep down, they know what's up. They know what's up, right? Or they know that it's a possibility at the very least, right? This merger is making people very, very uncomfortable. All of the people who were saying that it was a pipe dream and that we were just all kind of tripping, right? They're all backtracking, right? Everybody's backtracking. Everybody's um hey, Sil, I'm gonna get at you. I might. Look, I'm gonna make look. Um, nah, they've all been backtracking, right? So all these things kind of happening at one time are making these people uncomfortable, right? And so that's why I think that this toxicity is reaching such a fever pitch, and the Batman is like the last hurrah for this old regime, yo. Like theatrically, this is it, right? So, anybody that has anything negative to say whatsoever about this movie, you are gonna get attacked, right? You can literally just go say, hey, there's two movies in theaters right now, right? Morbius and the Batman, right? Hey, look, I went to go see the Batman. I went to go see Morbius. Zod said, I feel like Morbius was a better experience. I know what he means, right? It don't mean that the production value was, higher, right? It doesn't mean like, that the score just and everything just has to be better. No, the Batman clearly has a lot more money behind it and a lot more writing on it. That's why we saw all that damn marketing, right? With them calzones that they sold 10 million of. Everybody got them. Yo, all my homies got them. Like everybody was trying those things, yo. Seal had it with the extra Catwoman sauce. You know it was going up. You know it was going up, right? So, with that being said, they're putting all of their eggs into this basket because after this, and that merger hit, like, Bad Dan says he can't wait to see Morbius on Tuesday. I'm going tonight. I'm going tonight. I made sure that I got some tickets opening weekend because I want to go check that out, yo. I am excited to go see Morbius. And I'm gonna go see it, and I'm gonna let y'all know what I think. And I'm gonna be honest, I ain't gonna cape for no movie. But back to WB. They are obviously the ones behind all this show. Like, why would anybody be surprised? They've done nothing but try to mobilize this toxicity the entire time. From when the Snyder Cut came out, and they came out that same weekend, like, yo, it's done, it's a wrap. And started off putting the kibosh on all that. Y'all don't think that was toxic? You don't think it was toxic unlisting the trailer? Right? Was it toxic when they leaked the movie? When they put it on Tom and Jerry? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, and all this behavior is part of the anti-Zack movement. So yes, I'm also lumping in WB's behavior. So now you know it's not even. We couldn't be more toxic to WB than they've been towards Zack if we tried to in 1,000 lifetimes. And that's real talk. So, like, when you guys call us toxic, and Casey Beta want to go on his little tirades on Twitter, you know what I'm saying? Sitting there, all, like, yo, everybody that disagrees with him is a virgin now, apparently. Zod said fans didn't start any of this. The studio is the bully. I agree, yo. Look at what's happened. Like, yo, all this behavior, yo, from he was supposed to get, everything that he wanted for the Snyder Cut. They was still, messing with it, cutting scenes out, not letting him use Green Lantern. Why? It makes no sense. We're doing a multiverse, right? Like, why can't he have his Green Lantern? Look, when Wayne T. Card drops his Green Lantern picture, right? What was a whole bunch of the, oh my God, like, you got people calling it fan fiction. How you calling that man's picture fan fiction? Leon of the New Geek says the WB Brazim slash Sarnoff tried to denounce the Snyder fandom because of toxicity, but didn't mention any of the goodwill from Zack's fandom. Goodwill equals letters, flowers to WB's execs, AFSP, etc. I agree 1,000%. How did at that time? What, it was over 500,000, right? How do we raise all of that money and that don't even get like brought up, right? But then they're constantly in the trades and stuff, right? Talking about the toxic fans and all that stuff. See, and that's what I don't like. Every time that anybody was being asked about these things, right, they were always being asked to answer for the toxic part of the fandom or like the toxic fans. Anytime anything dealing with the Snyderverse came up, they're being like, hey, guys, like, I mean, you know, um, I'm in support of Zack's movie, or Zack getting his cutout, but I just don't appreciate, all of the toxic behavior from the fans, and and it's just like, yo, like, shut up, because all of this toxicity being thrown our way, um, it just goes like unrecognized. Nobody talks about it. Nobody brings these things up. But no more. Necron says Daddy Zaslav gonna give him a huge rude awakening. I agree 1,000%. Um, the question says fans from around the world of all different colors, creeds, ethnicities, and backgrounds love his movies because they identify with his stories. International fans don't give a F about Jeff Johns' agenda. And that's real talk, yo. And that's part of what bothers me so much, right? And why I believe that there is just so much racism that's kind of behind a lot of this stuff. Because, typically one of the main things that's brought up in like a negative way when people are talking about the Snyder fans and stuff is like their colors and their races. Like, I don't even understand why that's even a thing. Right? I just saw some little thing earlier where it was pretty much trying to say that all of Zack Snyder's fans are from the Middle East, which is not true. But even if it was, if a group of people from the Middle East was able to really like come together and change the world and do that and change Hollywood forever, that'd be super dope. That'd be super dope, yo. That they could have that kind of impact from all the way over there. But no, it wasn't just them. It was a unified effort from around the world. That's why the term global phenomenon was used. That is why that term was used. Necron said WB did everything in its power to slow the hype and success of Zack Snyder's Justice League. The the weekend it premiered. This is why they get in the boot. Absolutely. The weekend that the movie premiered, yo. Leon says, I've never seen anyone ask fans of Beyonce, Cardi, Wu-Tang, Lady Gaga, etc. why they're toxic when it comes to defending their favorite. Absolutely. Because most people know fandoms are passionate. Absolutely, yo. Y'all ever heard of the Beehive? Man, y'all calling us toxic. They've also said all Snyder fans are right-wing versions. These Snyder antis need to make up their mind. Yo, it's like it's so back and forth, right? It's like it's this, it's that, right? You guys are 40 people. You guys are a bunch of Indian guys. You guys are virgins that are living in your mom's basement that are incels. It's like I don't even understand. Oh, I'm glad. Oh, I'm glad Anthony Chessman is here. I am so glad that Anthony Chessman is here. The problem is Snyder fans care more about Snyder than DC. Who, who, who? Okay, first of all, it's not true. But let's even say that it was. Let's even say that it was, right? Let's say that I have not spent my better part of my entire lifetime, right, being a fan of these characters, right? You know, from Batman the animated series, right? From all the way up to nah, let's just act like that's not true, right? That I'm just a Snyder fan, right? So, but guess what? Even if I was a Snyder fan more than I was a DC fan, my takes would still be valid. See, that is the problem, right? You guys can't argue the takes. You say, hey, it's too dark. I say too dark compared to what? What are we talking about here? Is it too dark compared to the Marvel movies? Um, I don't really think so, but you can say, hey, well, yeah, it's too, but they're not Marvel movies, right? But you're wrong. I care. I've been a DC fan much longer than I've been a fan of Zack Snyder, but it's just not my fault that Zack Snyder just happens to make the best DC movies. Hey, it's not my fault. It's become a region at this point. This guy, crazy. Calling fans toxic because we don't want to put money into something we don't want. We didn't want Peacemaker, Girl Trinity, Michaels, Keaton's Batman. No, but hey, you're toxic for when you do that, right? And when you do actually boycott, it doesn't do anything. But if your movie doesn't make $1 billion, then hey, it's our fault for that movie not making 1 billion because we're also toxic because um because reasons. It's like, hey, you guys don't have any impact. Oh, you have all the impact in the world. It's like I just don't. understand. Toxicity is just a word that young crowds use to label people they disagree with. And I agree, 1000%. Look, celebs like Leslie Jones had the timeline lit for Zack Snyder's Justice League while WB tried to suffocate. These are facts. Is this not toxic? You got people, yo, like the Warner Brothers accounts never even like um marketed or like to try to promote the movie. Did they ever do anything? Did the Warner Brothers, the main socials, did they ever promote that movie like whatsoever? Beyond a retweet? Snyder does DC the best. He gets it. Yes. And he was just ahead of his time. Snyder fans like Snyder more than DC. It's such a lame straw man argument. Yo, it's so true, right? Hey, like, I didn't watch Batman Mask of the Phantasm and Batman 89 and Batman Returns and Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. I didn't go see all those in the theaters. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see Superman Returns. I didn't like, Batman Begins. I didn't like The Dark Knight, right? Like, I didn't go see any of these movies, before, right? I was just a Snyder fan. Like, yo, you guys don't even like, yo, the things you guys say are like just utterly ridiculous and can be easily disproven. Easily. Ill Life says, I've been a DC fan, reader, heavy subscriber my whole life, and I'm more DC fan than Snyder fan, which is exactly why I want Restore the Snyderverse so much. Because it's the best hands, because the best hands for DC are Zack's. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But instead of saying like, hey, there seems to be, right, a sizable amount of people that are all in agreement that Zack is the best, shepherd or like steward for the DC universe, right? No, they want to say, hey, you guys are just Snyder fans more than DC, right? That's why you don't want to, right? Go check out Matt Reeves' is the Batman, right? That's why you don't want to go see Matt Reeves' movie. You guys are just Snyder fans. Like I didn't love Joker. Is that a Zack Snyder movie? Huh? Wait, I'm looking at my 4K Blu-ray for Joker right there. I loved Wonder Woman. Is that a Zack Snyder movie? I liked the theatrical version of Suicide Squad. I thought it was okay. What else I got over there? I do have a lot of Zack Snyder movies, but hey, even The Dark Knight, is that a Zack Snyder movie? Hold on, man, yo, I can just keep going. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like yo, you know, you guys just need to accept that there are a sizable amount of people that feel like Zack is the best steward for the DC universe. He is the one that treats these characters the best that we've seen, right? And puts them in the proper light that we feel like they need to be shown in. I've seen the DCEU with Zack and I've seen it without, and I choose with him every time. Right? Cass says, yeah, because Nolan trilogy didn't come before and we all hated it. That's what I'm saying. Look, to me, when they criticize Snyder, they criticize Frank Miller, John Byrne, and all the classic 80s takes on these characters. Absolutely. Like, you're sitting there and you're talking about, oh my God, like, especially a movie like 300. Look at some of the recent claims about that movie. As if it's not based on a graphic novel. But no, they try to blame Zack. This is, they really try to blame Zach, calling Zach racist for doing a movie and literally adapting the graphic novel, which is based on a true. Oh my god! Oh my god! You can't make this up, yo. You literally can't make this up, yo. The majority of the world likes DC comic book stuff because the characters are Coke and Pepsi. It's pop culture. Absolutely. Batman and Superman are two of the most recognizable symbols on the entire planet. I don't know if you guys know that. They are two of the most recognizable symbols on the entire planet. It's pop culture. Zach just made a version of DC that was an epic alternative to MCU. Absolutely. It was like, the Justice League by way of Lord of the Rings, right? This is the question. I'll proudly admit, as a general audience member, that I didn't care about DC at all until Snyder reintroduced Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman in his Zack Snyder's Justice League. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. I was never a big Superman fan like that, right? Until Man of Steel. I mean, I liked Superman the animated series, right? The one that was a spinoff of Batman the animated series. I like that. I thought that was pretty cool. But just, I was never really that big on Superman until Man of Steel. When I saw the first trailer, I was like, oh my God, this is about to be like off the chain. And it absolutely was. I was not disappointed. Snyder fans didn't just fall out of the sky. We grew up watching DC and things like it. Look, Bad Dan said he didn't even know who Zack Snyder was before Man of Steel. Dude, I didn't even know that I was a Zack Snyder fan until like Batman vs Superman, because I didn't even put all the dots together. You know, like I didn't know that I was like a real Zack fan until Batman vs Superman. And then I started researching everything, and I was like, oh my God, he did, Dawn of the Dead, which I think is like one of the best remakes of a movie ever. I think that's pretty fair to say. It was an excellent remake. Excellent, right? 300 legendary, Watchmen legendary. I don't care what you guys say. I like Sucker Punch. I actually picked up on a lot of the subtext and the things that Zach was trying to say and talk about with that movie. So I'm sorry if you didn't get what I got from that movie, but I like Sucker Punch. I love that movie. And it's visually stunning, right? Sucker Punch is the first time I ever saw Oscar Isaac in a movie ever. Go to show Zach, GOAT casting. Right. Sylvester King says the Batman was garbage. I don't know how people praise mediocrity. Excuse me, mediocrity. Reeves is a try hard, trying to be like Nolan. That was actually one of the things that I walked away with too. When I had watched that movie, was overindulgence. That just really seemed like Matt Reeves was really trying to like flex his cinematography and like, hey, look at these shots that are cool. You know, it was almost like the movie is like a collection of these vignettes, right? And it's just but yeah, I don't know. Look, and I'm gonna go check out Morbius. If I have more fun watching Morbius and I feel something more, yo, I'm telling you, man, that Batman screening that I was in was dead quiet the entire time. The entire time. There was no passion, there was no laughing, there was no clapping, there was no nothing. So if I go into Morbius and there's more energy with probably a less filled crowd, that's gonna be an issue. El Necron, and even more current comics. He knows all the lore, and you see it just like BVS alone. He merged elements of like 20 great DC storylines. Look, absolutely, yo. There was so look, like that's such a great point, right? BVS had so many different like elements from different comic book storylines that people just weren't even picking up on. From Superman, what was it, Peace on Earth, right? I mean, you got some of the obvious ones with, the Dark Knight Returns, some of the elements, right? But no, like it was stuff from all over the place. And we pick up on that, and I think that we appreciate that more, right? And I think that that's why our fandom has lasted longer, and why we've seen these other kind of things kind of like, pop up and then they disappear, is because they're not really like rooted or based in anything. They're not based in that love. They're based in just opposition. As franchise says, I couldn't imagine having a multi-billion-dollar idea fall in my lap. And my response to that is, we are going in a different direction. Absolutely. Absolutely, yo. Warner Brothers fumbled I will say this, right? But it's crazy because I think that, it's almost kind of cool for Marvel that, or for Disney rather, that things played out the way that they did. Because I really think that there was a point where DC was about to make Marvel have to make some serious shifts. I mean, they did, right? Even if you just look at the announcement of Batman versus Superman and all the ripples that caused, with Captain America 3 being changed, which I don't care what you say, that movie got changed. It was not supposed to be no Civil War. They let's keep it a buck. But no, and Warner Brothers just fumbled the bag, listening to these toxic fans and stuff like that were just on here trying to take part in a discourse and just be negative. Look, Liana, the new geek, says, I'm a DC connoisseur. Can't nobody tell me I wasn't a DC fan first without lying through their teeth. And facts, Joker was dope. And that's my point. They are willing to kind of like stoop to new lows. Like that straw man argument of, hey, you guys are just DC fans. I mean, just Zack fans and not DC fans. Sylvester King says these dumb YouTubers who want to replace Batfleck with Pattinson are bat-ish crazy or on drugs. I agree. Leon says the Dark Knight trilogy isn't a Snyder trilogy. Dylan J. Look, haters talk more about Zack than us fans do, to the point of jumping on positive Snyder comment section streams to spout their horse-ish opinions, and yet us Snyder fans are the problem. Exactly, yo. That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, I don't go into streams or comment sections where people are like saying, "Hey guys, I really love this Batman movie," and they're talking about like why they like and love the Batman movie, right? And I get in there and just start trashing Matt Reeves and calling Pattinson. No, if anything, I'm gonna have a discussion about what I didn't like about the movie. But usually that's not what these people do. And you guys know that. That's usually not what they do. Look, they criticize Grant Morrison, his JLA and Batman run. Scott Snyder, Jim Lee. Facts. That's because Dumbo's only realized 300 is a comic. Okay, Anthony's back. Spider-Man is way more popular right now. Okay, listen to me, right? Now, in terms of superheroes globally, I believe Spider-Man was behind Superman. I do believe Superman is still the most popular character worldwide. In terms of logo, you can say whatever, right? Um, Spider-Man, look, he sells great in games, great movies, all of that stuff, yo. But in terms of like endearment, I don't think it's close. And we're talking about worldwide. Look, and Superman symbols are the most. Yes, absolutely. The Christian cross and Superman symbol are the most recognizable, if I'm not mistaken. Look, Anthony Chessman's back. I'm loving that Anthony's here. Snyder fans can't accept that his movies were divisive. Those are just felt he fa- those are just the facts. Okay, now here's the thing, right? They were a bit divisive when the theatrical cut of Batman vs Superman was released. I don't think that anybody would argue that. I even said that earlier in this stream. Even though I still loved it, I do understand some of the problems that people had with the theatrical version of Batman vs Superman, right? Because I've had conversations where we discuss these things, and usually it um really panned out with um the lack of understanding about why Superman was so, mad at Batman and why he, was so ready to fight him. Um, Lex's plan being, kind of um, vague, right? Whereas in the ultimate version, it's much like they show you a lot more of the threads that are connecting Lex with these other characters. They show these things, right? So I understand. So, but hey, just like as I stated earlier, um, when the Ultimate Edition came out, and then we were still being criticized, even though the Ultimate Edition of that film got much higher ratings than the theatrical version did. And even the late great John Snap pretty much said it fixed every single problem with that movie that he had, and that he felt that they lost, left 200 to 250 million dollars on the table by not releasing that version in theaters. So, even if you want to say like, hey, the theatrical cut was divisive, the ultimate edition was not divisive. It was not. That boy said, I think the first Snyder movie I've seen was 300. Yo, and it was yo, I didn't real, at that point when that movie came out, I didn't realize the impact of directors, right? So I wasn't really following who was directing what movie, right? Funny story. I even went to go see The Spirit after 300 came out because I thought that The Spirit was going to be directed by the same guy that directed 300. Boy, was I wrong, but now I am much more knowledgeable on that and know that that was entirely crazy. But I was thinking because Frank Miller directed The Spirit, not Zack Snyder. Yo, the Madman himself says, here to support. Yo, I love you, Mad Max. I love you. I love you. I'm gonna hop on later too. You know what I'm saying? You already know. Already know. Look, we hella know shit is divisive. We've been dealing with it for years. How can anyone even think that? That's what I'm saying. Right? Like, We've already went through all of these stages that these guys are going through now. We've already been through all this stuff. I know that people didn't like Zack's take. Like, do you think that we've just been like, what do you think that we've been having to do this whole time trying to fight for his vision to get released? That boy said, I feel like I'm one of the lone defenders of BVS. We all felt like that. I felt like it was, yo, everybody felt like we were up against an avalanche, yo, because we were. Reeves was like, I'll just mix the Dark Knight and Batman Returns. Instant billion. Easy clap, baby. Yo, I've been saying this. The anti-Snyder people are the worst type of people, the most toxic. They hate on Snyder for absolutely no reason. They can accept anybody. I don't know. They can accept anything besides Snyder. Absolutely. Even if, right, the new thing is more of what they were complaining about. Right? They told us that Snyder was way too dark. Matt Reeves said, "Oh, you want to see dark? Hold my beer, little homie." Right? And he jumps off this deep end with this darkness, right? And has Batman, with the eye makeup and black and brooding and arguing with Alfred like a little baby, right? And everybody's like, oh, yeah, this is really what we wanted, right? Zod says, nothing in the Batman stands out. The movie is a big nothing burger with cool graphic novel shots. These kids love it because it's the antithesis of Snyder. WB has conditioned kids to hate Snyder. It's true. I would absolutely say so. BVS is a better Batman film than 3 entire hour the Batman movie. I agree. I agree. Yo, in terms of the Batman, like, I don't think it was better than any of the Nolan movies. I don't think it's better than any one of those movies. I don't think it's better than any of Zack's movies. I don't think it was better than '89. Um, it's better than Batman and Robin, clearly, and I probably say it's better than Batman Forever too, maybe. But I really like Forever. Batman Forever holds like a special place in my heart. Not gonna lie. Um, but yeah, like it's cool. It's just, and Zod was absolutely right. Nothing in that movie stands out. Nothing. Like I literally was in the theater the entire time, just like watching it and just like quiet. And after a while I was checking my phone and I was really bored. Honestly, I can't lie. I got bored. And I shouldn't be bored watching a Batman movie. Absolutely not. That's the first Batman movie. That is the first Batman movie I've ever seen that has made me bored. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bored. I was young when I saw Batman and Robin, so I was entertained. I was a little kid. Pardon me. I've seen it now that I'm grown. Yes, I understand. But no, like, but even then, you can make a drinking game and it's like super exciting. Just hey, every time Arnold makes a pun, take another shot. Oh my God, you'll be destroyed. You'll destroy your liver. I promise you. Look, we can't accept the fact that the Man of Steel is only one WB didn't screw with. So the divisive reactions in box office with BVS and Justice League weren't fair shakes. And critics' response to BVS Ultimate Edition and Zack Snyder Justice League proves it. Exactly. Look, his movies were mostly divisive for folks who live online and have no life. The trend of a successful box office before Justice League and billions in merch say that general audiences liked it. I tell people that when I saw Batman vs Superman, like I saw it in the Chinese theater, which is the biggest movie theater in Southern California. It just is, hands down. It's the biggest one. It fits like 1,000 people, and it's huge, right? So, it got like cheers and gasps, and people are Yo, the Wonder Woman scene when Wonder Woman saved Batman's life is probably like one of the loudest pops I've ever heard in any theater ever. I mean, the crowd went insane, right? So, and even then, it got a standing ovation. I asked ushers and stuff. I'm like, hey, how's the reaction been to this movie? Everybody's like, yo, they're all loving it. Everybody's giving it standing ovations. And then as soon as I walked out of the theater, because I had been staying off of Twitter like all week, I looked at my phone and everybody's like, oh my God, it's the worst movie ever. And I had just had one of the best movie going experiences ever. So yes, it is a lot a lot of this is that there is this divide between people who spend a bunch of time online and they don't recognize that there are people that do not spend their time online like that. And just because those people that don't spend their time online, they might like something, that doesn't mean that, their takes aren't valid. And I think that the response to Zack's movies have been absolutely that. Oh my God, Rhea, you already know I love you, and I appreciate you coming through anytime. Anytime, keep doing what you're doing. You are a light that all of us can only look up and admire. Okay. Guardians of Galhul was the first Zack Snyder movie I've ever watched. And back then, I didn't even know that he directed it. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that a a lot of us really came to the realization that we were fans of Zack like later, after we saw a few different projects that he had put out. Um, that boy says, when I got BVS Ultimate Edition on Blu-ray, I watched it at least half a dozen or so times in the first week. Yo, I did too. Absolutely. And that's why, that movie like charted, like, I think like for like the rest of the month or like a couple months after that, and was probably the number one selling Blu-ray of that year. See, but right, you had people like what's his name, who came in earlier, Anthony Chessman, saying, "Hey, that no, but this stuff is divisive, guys. It's divisive, right? By every metric that you can use to measure it, right? Um, Zach's ideas have been profitable, not like breaking even. I mean, profitable. BBS made money, yo. I have a list I made of comic threads in BVS. Ill Life says it's like 30 storylines, literally, and Zach merges them into 3 hours in a whole new earth perfectly. Yo, like, there's so many like Superman Peace on Earth references, and obviously you got Injustice thrown in there too. Like, yo, man, this is just, you know, um, uh, Snyder fans also can't handle that the Batman is a success. The Batman was not a flop, right? Now, would you say that this movie is a massive success, right? If it is such a success, then why have we only heard about HBO Max follow-ups? Why have we not heard about the sequel being announced? If it was such a success, these are the questions that we have to ask. Okay. Fat Dan says, "What up, Rhea?" Cass says, "I'm starting to think Reeves was mostly executing studio orders, and they try hiding a cookie cutter movie behind the visuals." Look, in terms of what Matt Reeves, man, like, look, I think Matt really did want to do his own thing. I I think Matt really did want to do his own thing, and I think that that's why he walked away from them in the negotiating process, right? I think that's absolutely why he walked away, and I think that when they acquiesced to his demands is when he came back. Now, I'm not going to blame him for especially at that time, seeing everything that they were going to do. Matt's probably like, look, I don't want to connect with all that other stuff. If you guys are going to go this other way, I'd rather, go do my own thing, which I'm not going to blame him for, right? But with that being said, um, yeah, I do kind of think that Matt really, really wanted to do his own thing. I think that WB was probably um keen on rebooting Batman, but I think that they probably wanted their Batman to still whoever their new Batman was going to be, they probably wanted him to still try to connect with the other characters after they were going to do the eventual Flash thing and um reboot the timeline. Zod Ryder, you thought Morbius was a good movie. Sit down. What does Zod Ryder thinking that Morbius was a good movie have to do with anything? See, this is what I like mean, right? So since Zod liked Morbius, Zod is discounted from speaking on other things, right? We all have guilty pleasures, yo. Everybody is allowed to have different opinions. This is what you guys are not understanding. This is why you are so behind the eight ball when it comes to us in comparison to these things because we learned these lessons years ago. Yo, Rhea is my spirit animal. I pray to be like Rhea one day. Um, WB hates on Snyder because he did three movies. What WB couldn't in the past 20 years. Yo, man, look, and that's also why I think that, this whole thing is kind of ridiculous, is because they've tried to fight so hard to get away from his vision, but his visions have been the most successful things about the DCEU. Um, this entire time, and his casting choices have been, um, excuse me, his casting choices have been impeccable, and it's made the franchise. Um, I mean, it's made the Warner Brothers studio like a whole bunch of money, right? His Aquaman has made them a whole bunch of money. His Wonder Woman, his Batman, his Superman, all this stuff in merch and he's made them a bunch of money, bunch of money. That can't be questioned. So hey Ray, Marvel literally admitted Captain America 3 was changed to Civil War because of BVS. My point exactly. They were supposed to do like some Captain America Serpent Society movie, right? And then all of a sudden, right, because they're like, oh yeah, Kevin Feige has you know, years and years of these Marvel movies planned out and it's ironclad and they stick to it. Oh, but BVS is coming out. Oh, we have to renegotiate Robert Downey Jr.'s contract so that he can appear in more movies. Why would you have to do that if you already had everything planned out and that this was supposed to be Civil War from the jump? Wouldn't you already have worked this in? Makes no sense. Everybody is loving Rhea. Ill Life says, yo, Sickness, what up? Watch this. Matt Reeves is giving WB what Snyder couldn't, a box office and critical success. Okay, so question. So why is it that Warner Brothers has not announced that there is a sequel to coming theatrically? Why are they saying that the Joker's gonna probably be on HBO Max? You have not answered that question. This is what we're here for, to get these kind of questions answered. Why is it that we have not gotten an announcement yet? Okay. the Russos admitted that they were inspired by BVS. How the F you were inspired by a movie that hadn't come out yet, unless you were given details, hashtag Snake Jeff Johns. Yo, I'm about to leave this up here for a quick little second. Yo, I was about to start winding down, but y'all got me cooking, yo. Look, um, this whole thing, yo, this whole thing, Warner Brothers gave up the goods, yo. They gave up the goods, and I think that's partly why they wanted to like try to hurry up and kill the Snyderverse, because I think that they probably found out what happened. They found out like, hey, Jeff Johns then probably gave Kevin Feige our story, right? They're gonna beat us to it now, right? Because you can see the writing on the wall, right? And right, this the whole timeline, and because it really didn't make any sense. How are you inspired by a movie that you have not seen yet? We talking about toxic behavior, people, right? How, yo, it makes no sense. How are they inspired by BVS when they were coming out at the same time? The storylines are super simple, and that's what's also funny about this whole BVS and Civil War thing was they're almost the same movie, but people like refuse to admit how similar that they actually are, right? Except I would argue that Civil War is worse because they, Cap and Iron Man have no real beef with one another. They're not even really mad at each other throughout the entire movie until the very end. Not even really mad. And like, it just, yeah, it just ended in a weird place, right? I didn't like Zemo's motives, look, but just the similarities between what was going to eventually end up happening with you know Dark Side and Coming to Earth, and right, the movie ending with him winning, and it ends on a cliffhanger, and then at the end of the third movie the main star gives up his life to save the universe, right, or whatever. It seemed too similar, and I think that that's partly why they really put the kibosh on that movie, is because it really just, I mean, even if you look at the Snyder cut now, right, you can see like, yo, the history lesson looks like the end of, I mean, Endgame, and that was gonna happen again, right? Like, man, dude, this rabbit hole gets deep, yo. This rabbit hole gets deep. Anthony, you thought Mid Bat was a great movie. Sit down. Yeah, man. Yo, look, WB grabbed Reed by the collar and told him, listen, boy, we just got rid of an Oscar-winning writer-director. You either do or you ain't do our bidding, or you get the F out. Facts, yo. Hey, grabbed him up by the collar. Yo, they treated him like Bane did in The Dark Knight Race. Like, do you feel in charge? You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. Because it is a great movie, Anthony Chessman says. Most people agree it's great, but Snyder fans have to hold on to hate because that's all you have now. No, we actually have the Snyderverse getting restored. We have two Oscars that we just won for Zack Snyder. And we also have the Snyder Cut. So that's what we have. And what you guys have is a Batman who walks through doors consistently, and a Batman that still doesn't have a sequel announced. Why isn't the sequel announced? This question still hasn't gotten answered. He has that Morbius box office. Look, Snyder's Batman, it wasn't even Batman. It was Punisher dressed up as Batman. Cool, but why doesn't Matt Reeves the Batman have a sequel announced? They already announced that not Tobey Maguire, that Tom Holland's getting the college trilogy. They announced that, what was that, like first weekend, right? Or something like that, right? Very soon after, right? Morbius made 39 million. Is that a success to you? Actually, if the movie cost $75 million to make, that would be a success, Mr. Chessman. See, I got time for y'all today. I got time for y'all. I got time for y'all. Ray said, hey, Necron, good vibes, yo. Yo, facts, yo. Um, the Batman is barely getting into the territory to start making money. It hasn't succeeded at anything yet. Its first competition is a damn rom-com with Sandra Bullock. Kick that is to the curb. Right. And now you got Sonic about to come out. Wait, is Sonic gonna flop? Sonic's on VOD too, right? Is that are people gonna wait to go see Sonic? We'll see. Snyder's Batman didn't kill everyone. Look at the scene where he breaks an electrical. Yo, look, let's put this to bed right now. Let's just keep it a buck. Snyder's Batman only killed a couple people, and it was people that were trying to use incredible amounts of deadly force, right? Like the people, I mean, the guy that was in the truck with the little minigun, right? You know, he didn't purposely hit the guy with his Batmobile, you know what I'm saying? So that wasn't on purpose. And the only other people he killed was the guys that he blew up outside of the warehouse that was trying to, stop him from getting Martha. Yo, he didn't hit Ben Affleck's kill count is lower than Michael Keaton's. I don't think you guys understand this stuff. Zod says you haven't read The Dark Knight Returns, have you? Double that, Tony. Worldwide, it's over 80 million, right? Look, recognizability and popularity are two different things. The most pop comic book characters in order are Spider-Man, Batman, and Supes. The most recognizable logos are Supes and Bats of the three. Absolutely. Morbius wasn't expected to be a blockbuster. The movie cost 84 million last time I checked. If I use your box office logic, this movie has to make a lot more than yo. Okay, but if it already made 80 worldwide opening weekend, did the Batman, okay, Anthony, did the Batman make its production budget back or that close to it in its first weekend? And if it did, or if it was going to be so profitable, why has there not been a sequel announced? And the only projects we are hearing about moving forward are on HBO Max. These are the questions. Look, this is getting crazy. Morbius didn't cost as much as the Batman. The Batman has to make more than $1 billion to break even. Yo, but they don't seem to understand this side. They're gonna compare a movie that even if it cost 84 million, right? Whatever, right? The Batman could have possibly cost $250 million. They're saying with all the COVID costs, it was likely around $250 million. How much marketing did you see for that movie? They're doing Batman Dr. Squatch commercials right now. JIP says WB biggest fumble is not releasing the Ultimate Edition. I say this all the time. If the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs Superman comes out in theaters, I think we live in a totally different world right now. I think the world is different. The world is completely different that that movie comes out in. The Batman doesn't have to make a billion. You keep going with that dumb narrative. No, it was the narrative that WB created. They wanted $1 billion for this movie. WB wanted $1 billion for this movie. Do not let that confuse you. It did not perform to their expectations. It has to break 800 million to break even. It's a flop. Yo, it just crossed 700. It's not gonna yo. And you know what's so funny? You guys keep saying, "Oh, it made more than the Snyder movies." If you adjust for inflation, it didn't. It didn't. So now what? When you're among the three most popular, it's all just semantics at that point. All three can eat when given the chance to. Example, MCU Spidey Studios treatment versus BVS's studio treatment. Absolutely. And now you are about to have multiple Spider-Men probably going on at one time. And people are going to be happy and they're probably going to support all of them, right? But when you do what WB has done, it fractures the fan base, and then you have fans that are feeling like they have to be made to choose, right? And it's just not cool, and that's never gonna garner like yo. When does going against what your fandom says? When does that ever work? When does it ever work? He said, "Is it really divisive, or is it wasn't a simple movie that you didn't have to think about?" Yes, BBS is not a popcorn movie that you can turn your brain off and just watch. It's not. Zack Snyder does not make films like that. You have to watch everything that's going on. There's so much visual storytelling. People ask, like, yo, my favorite scene in Batman vs Superman, it ain't none of the action scenes. It's none of the action scenes. My favorite scene in that movie is when he's talking to Lex Luthor on top of the building. And it is such a masterclass in visual storytelling, right? That it's phenomenal. And that's my favorite scene. $200 million budget, 200 million marketing. Yeah, Gray said 100. Yeah, like yo, hold up, watch this. You guys keep moving the goalposts. First, it was doing Man of Steel numbers, then it beat Man of Steel. Now it has to make a billion. It had to make a billion from the jump. And I'm not going to allow you to derail the conversation. If the movie is such a success, why has there not been a sequel announced? Every other movie that comes out nowadays, right? The sequel gets announced immediately if it's a success. Yo, Wonder Woman 84 got a sequel announced quicker than this, bro. Where's the sequel? Why are they announcing HBO Max projects with the Joker in them? And people went out of their way. Yo, absolutely. Look, you don't understand how box office works, guys. The studio gets less money the longer the movie is in theaters because those profits have to go to theaters. Do some research. And on top of that, the international numbers, they get a smaller percentage of that as well. You guys don't know what you're talking about. But it's fine because we're gonna walk you through it because we already been through this. We're gonna walk you through it. We're gonna make sure that y'all straight. Anthony Chess, look, I'd argue Keaton's more Punisher had no remorse. He literally, right, like put a bomb in the dude's pants, right, and like kicked him down a well and smiled. These things happen. Look, watch this. Watch this. You guys can't take the Batman says because it ruins your narrative. Why hasn't there been this? Yo, what effed over the Man of Steel was the name. I guarantee if he's called it Superman Man of Steel, it would have made a billion. No, I think that what kind of hindered Man of Steel is that well, one, I think that they did that because they were kind of going away from like just calling the name, like, because when Nolan did Batman Begins and then he went to The Dark Knight and then the Dark Knight Rises, I think that we're kind of still in that state where everybody was, trying not to just call stuff Batman or Superman or whatever. But no, I think that no, what hindered Man of Steel was people being upset about him not, or of us getting a realistic take of what would happen. People wanted this idealistic, right? Just saving cats out of trees type of Superman. And I think that that just wasn't going to go over too well. I think that would have went over much worse than Man of Steel did. If you look at Superman Returns, right, where he doesn't throw a punch throughout the entire movie, if I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me. But yeah, they hated that because it was too close to to Christopher Reeve and it took no risks. And then Zack takes risks and actually shows you what would happen in reality, and people are like, "Oh, this isn't my Superman," right? Look, um, most people knew that the Batman would be, dude. It's Batman. If your Batman movie flops, yo, people would have gotten fired immediately. Zai Ryder says this dude is obsessed with box office and he doesn't know anything about how it all works. It's ironic. It's crazy, right? But us being the elder statesmen and have already dealt with all this stuff, right? We're the ones that are toxic. We're the ones that are tripping, right? Look, Bat Dan says I played a Justice League drinking game a little before Zack Snyder's Justice League premiered. I was hungover for 2 nights. Yo, that's real talk. Yo, I'm about to. Yo, you look. Y'all want to get triggered? If I'm gonna be honest with you, if I'm gonna be straight up honest with you, all right, I had a better time watching. I'm not saying if we just gonna go off of like the way I felt and times of cheering or laughter or awe or whatever, I had a better time watching Justice League than I did the. Oh my god, I didn't feel nothing watching that movie, yo. I didn't feel nothing, yo. Watch this. Look. I'm about to break down why you so wrong, right? Man, it still had a $250 million budget, and it didn't make 700 million. But I don't remember any of you saying it needed to make a billion back then, right? But guess what? Zach also did. I think it was like $170 million worth of product placement. So the movie was almost halfway paid for when it came out. Look, he does want us to be upset. He does. He does, right? This is we're only saying it needs to make a billion to those that talk ish about Zack's movies not making a billion. It's not that difficult to understand. But not only just that, right? We talking about Warner Brothers expectations. They said this movie was going to break a billion. They said that, and I'm not letting it off the hook. They was like, oh, it's going to break a billion easy. And then when it didn't, they stuck up, oh, but people were boycotting. Right? Thank you. Product placement. Great point right here by Eli. I love to see what Zack Snyder's box office would have been. Oh, that's right. Toby and Rick blocked it when theaters wanted it, so we'll never know. Yo, I've literally been trying to like find an IMAX place to screen. Some place like you still can't even screen it. Like, yo, I don't think y'all understand how deep this rabbit hole goes. And I'm gonna tell you, Eli, they didn't want Zack to get that movie in theaters because that would have been like they would have had to release numbers for that. And if that would have been a success, there would have been no way, shape, form, or fashion that WB would have been able to hide it. But by keeping everything on HBO Max, right, and it's all in house, it's easy. It's much, much easier for them, right? This BVS had $300 million budget alone. It didn't get close to a billion. Also, don't remember you guys saying it had to reach a billion. But guess what? Warner Brothers said it should have reached a billion. And when it didn't, look at how they reacted, right? So now, since Warner Brothers also thought that the Batman should reach a billion and it didn't, and there's no sequel announcement, you know, yo, what up, Corey? Appreciate Corey Hamsmith, yo. Absolutely love whenever you come through. You know what I'm saying? Y'all smash that like button if you haven't already. You know, like you guys are allergic to facts or something. No, you are the one. You're allergic to answering my question. Why has there not been a sequel announced? You've been in here this whole time talking about how we moving the goalposts and we were allergic to facts. Answer the question. Why is it they have not? If you don't answer the question pretty soon, I'm going to throw you out of here. I'm dead serious. Like, answer the question. Because you in here trying to rile everybody up, but you won't answer my question. You know, he said 800 million ain't close to 1 billion. And seeing as how the fact that I also brought up earlier, the late great John Schnepp, who was also a Hollywood director, admitted they left 200 to 250 million dollars on the table by not releasing the Ultimate Edition in theaters. Suck on that. BVS still one of the best-selling Blu-rays of all time, and so will Zack Snyder's Justice League. I've already bought it like 3 or 4 times. The Batman has the same problem as the last Apes movies. It looked nice at times, but still felt hollow and underwhelming compared to expectations people were throwing around. I'm hearing the world's greatest detective. I'm hearing we're gonna out Nolan. I'm hearing that we are, hey, this all wait, the best since Dark Knight, right? So my expectations were super high and they were not met. BBS had the Holy Trinity and couldn't reach a billion. That's how sad Snyder is. I'm sure Oscar is very sad when he's going to be at home polishing up those two Oscars, right? That Matt Reeves. Oh wait, no, wait. Does Matt Reeves have two Oscars? Did he win two Oscars in the same night for two different movies? Hmm. I don't know. Might have to look into that. Yo, appreciate you. It's all good, even if you late. You know what I'm saying? Saying same brother Corey, right? They like Zach's ideas when presented by other directors and other, or other TV shows. Oh yeah, yeah. Like, if you want to get something greenlit, the quickest way is to pitch some Zack Snyder ideas. Look, you have been he's been ignoring a bunch of stuff. Along with my question on why hasn't there been a sequel announced, right? The Sonic 2 says, no, I mean, no, excuse me. Sylvester King says Sonic 2 comes out next weekend. The Batman ain't making a profit. Once Sonic 2 drops, the Batman ain't being talked about no more, right? BBS didn't make a billion, Zod says, because WB cut the theatrical run 3 weeks earlier. Do some research. And they also cut, yes, they cut the theatrical run short in China as well. Handcuffed the movie because they didn't want it to make a billion. They didn't want it to because if it would have made a billion, you had to complete what you were doing. Once that film cracked $1 billion, they're already thinking about trying to separate themselves from Zach even beforehand, right? But if it would have hit 1 billion, it would have been a wrap, right? Getting down with the sickness, right? Zod says the Batman won't get a sequel. It sucks, and Zod is having it here. Yo, Ill Life. I think he knows all this, and he's just trying to argue to argue. I don't think it's worth the energy anymore. Yeah, I'm not going to look. I'm not going to engage with Anthony anymore because he won't answer my question. Right, and look, right. Look here right now. We're in here. We're talking about these things, right? Who is in here knocking us off track? Who is being, you know what I'm saying, toxic, right? It is, look, this is another prime example, right? I like the Batmobile. Necron says. JIP says Matt Reeves literally said he thought the Batman is a rock star in a decaying manner. Dude, dude, what? And people talk about Snyder not understanding the character. Absolutely, absolutely. Corey said that the Batmobile was dope. Um, I think that the Batmobile reveal was pretty dope, right? I think him walking up to it was super lame, but the reveal was tight, and the scene was pretty cool with the chase too. But the Penguin definitely should have died after that car accident. WB is just too stupid to balance budgeting. It's not our fault. Their budgets are insane and need a billion to recoup. It's all good. Yo, I'm gonna get on that, Zod. Zod said that I need mods. I, I'm about to just try to give a couple of y'all some wrenches if I can. All right. Sickness says so. If the amount of characters counts, then the Batman should have done the same with Batman, Catwoman, Penguin, Riddler, and a Joker cameo. That's hella sad, and it couldn't get a billion then, right? And planning hints of all these other characters and stuff to come. I mean, the Batman, if that's one thing that it was trying to do, it was trying to sow these. I mean, trying to really sow these seeds for all these different characters and ways that things can go. And it's like, what are we even like really setting up? You know? Um, like it's right said, he said, I have a feeling he's tight. Ignoring him will get under his skin more than arguing. That's what he wants. I'm not arguing with anybody that won't answer a simple question. I've asked that question like how many times, guys, and I have not gotten an answer yet. Why hasn't the Batman gotten a sequel announced if it was such a good and spectacular and successful movie? Um, Look, agreed. Someone needs to get thrown out of the club, just like Robert Pattinson did in that Bat. Yo, I don't want to go to a movie and see my Batman can't get in the club, yo. Like, I ain't never tried to go to a club and couldn't get. I ain't never went to a club and couldn't get in, yo. Yo, yeah, nonsense. Even though that Nirvana song sounded fire and was well included in the movie. Absolutely, yo, no, the score on that movie was incredible. The score was the best thing about it, hands down, hands down, yo. The score was the best thing about that movie. The music was incredible. I thought that, yeah, the sound design was great. That part was super dope. Batman's theme is super dope. You know, Hill Life, you're actually right. Hey, um, arguing with us about box office. We don't care. I told him on my channel that I don't give a fig how much money the Batman makes, but he keeps bringing it up like it's painful. Nobody cares. And all I've been saying is, hey, um, why if it's so successful? Because they keep saying, oh yeah, it's so successful, it's a massive success. You guys can't take how much of a success it is. You guys are just rolling over it at night. You can't accept it. But okay, then where's the sequel announcement? Right? Does he ever say why he doesn't like a movie? No. It's just the no. Real life says I still haven't seen it. I could just care less it even exists, and I love Batman #1. That says a lot. Yo, I think we're all big Batman and DC fans here. Yo, I am. Like, yo, you guys think that I went into that movie like wanting to not be entertained, right? Lord Koji says Leon of New Geeks is right. Koji, salute to you. Big salute. You know what I'm saying? I watched AEW Rampage, yo. Loving Keith Lee. You know what I'm saying? Loving who else did I really like on there? Nah, AEW is dope, yo. AEW is dope, and um you're helping me get back into that has been super dope. And salute to you on me because I really got something else that I'm enjoying watching now, right? Um, the pandemic box office statement. Look, but it's funny, right? Because oh yeah, it made more than Man of Steel in a pandemic, right? Even though if you adjust for inflation, it didn't, right? But then when you bring up how hey, why didn't it do what Spider-Man did, and why didn't it hit 1 billion like you guys were saying that it was? Like yo, they keep saying, oh yeah, you guys are moving the goalposts. You're the ones that said, that it had to make 1 billion now. Like it ain't all these articles of like you guys know that we can see this stuff. Like it's still on the internet. Look, chat. You're in a he said you're in a group therapy session too. It makes you look worse because you clearly not a fan. Yo, it's all good though. That's why I'm like, yo, but hey, we talking about toxicity here, right? We're here out of love. You know what I'm saying? What's Anthony here for, right? As I said, right, dude can't sit at the big table. That's what I'm saying, yo. Look, just keep walking with your lunch tray. You know what I'm saying? You gonna look over, you gonna see me, Koj, Zod, Leon, Cass, Sickness, right? Double MJ. You know what I'm saying? We all over here chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like ill life, Corey. We all over here chilling. You just gonna look at us. You better put your head down and keep walking. Go find somewhere else to sit. Right? Everybody's showing love to Koj. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, not almost there the same. Oh my God. Um, Look, Bad Dan says Civil War was a bad movie. It has more holes than Swiss cheese. Yo, Civil War does have a lot of plot holes. It has a lot of plot holes, yo. And but what do you to expect when you rush a movie? Because they clearly, you know, rushed it. BBS and Civil War had similar story beats with different execution. Absolutely, right? Very, very, very similar story beats. Um, Bad Dan says government criticizing the Avengers for the destruction of New York when they were about to send the nuke to. That's what yo. That's what I was saying. They were about to nuke the city, yo. You know what I'm saying? Zemo's plans had a lot of if scenarios to domino effect to get to the next move that seemed far too convenient without mind reading powers. Yeah, like I'm like, yo, did this guy have a hand in the Sokovia Accords, right? See, like this is how you talk about movies, right? When you say that you don't like them or you say that you have problems with them, you actually talk about the things that you didn't like, right? Corey's not a fan of Civil War, the movie at all, right? Right? I agree, Cass. I agree, right? Look, Ill Life says, I like Civil War until the Civil War or sparring comedy session in airport, whatever you want to call it, but it was so watered down compared to comic run. Absolutely. Civil War wouldn't exist if it wasn't for BVS. These are all facts, yo. Um, Another thing, the premise behind the reason why Cap and Iron Man were fighting in the movie was very stupid. That's why I did not really enjoy Civil War that much. And I felt like BVS was way better even back then. Cass said it was a parking lot love tap section, right? Koji says, I got nothing but exploding love for Snyderverse. I can't hate films I haven't seen, so Batman fans can chill with me. But that's what yo. But if you do see it, Lord Koj, and if you dare say that it is not the best Batman movie since The Dark Knight, you are a hater. You are a hater, right? Leon of the New Geek says every Batman has been the Punisher in a bat suit. If that's the case, other Batman have killed way more than Batfleck. I agree. Lord Koj says Sonic 2 gonna be sick. Yo, I'm checking it out. I'm I'm checking it out. JIP says, imagine they aren't announcing a sequel because they're going to do the rest of the story on HBO Max and give Ben Affleck his own solo movie theatrically. Yo, that's what I'm saying, yo. But they're saying it's a massive success and we're just all tripping, right? 4K says Bale killed people as Bruce Wayne, which is worse. You know, I agree. he killed people when he was at the um the League of Shadows. Killed a bunch of them. Killed a bunch of them. Right. Lord Koj says, when I was 12, I was under the impression that Batman kills in films. Where the Batman doesn't kill police in 1989, the complaint is expired by 3 decades. Yeah. God forbid a superpowered alien drops in your backyard and threatens the earth. You become the Punisher too. Zod says Morbius is at 84 million worldwide, so it already made back its budget, which means it's probably going to be very, very profitable. I'm happy for Morbius. I'm going to go check it out later tonight. You guys cannot stop me. Ill Life says it's because the past iterations just killed and pretended it didn't happen with no remorse. Zack actually tackled the trope head on and showed Batman killing was wrong because he had lost his way. It was part of the story. Absolutely. I'm about to get ready to like wind down and cut this in a set because I got to get ready for another stream in a little bit, and I'm still kind of not feeling too well, so I got to charge up a little bit more. 4K says the same place people were in Harvey Dent. No, oh, the same place people were when Harvey Dent was played by Billy D. Williams. Right. Bale's Batman intentionally flattened a thug with his Batmobile in that tunnel scene in The Dark Knight. These are facts, right? That's why I cut my Tim Burton universe at Returns, Laura Koj says. Batman Forever, a standalone movie to me like Aquaman, you don't replace Billy D. Williams. Absolutely. You know, Cass says Batman, BVS Batman. Oh no, excuse me. BVS Batman story works as an origin story. Bruce gets back to being Batman instead of going towards it as a classic origin story like Batman Begins. Ray says it was clowns like Collider who said it should make $1 billion. Absolutely. They all said that it was, yo. They all said that it was. But yo, I'm way behind on the chat. Hold up. Let's get through some of these real quick because I'm about to close out in a second. Shin, aka Cage, what's going on, yo? Chubby Teddy says it's funny how we thought that MCU was the enemy when BVS came out, when all along it was Warner Brothers and the Clown Crew. These are facts, yo. How sad Jeff Johns' betrayal was. Yo, that's gonna go down as one of the biggest blunders in Hollywood history, yo. And it's only gonna be highlighted when Zack comes back and it's a massive success. Right? Um, the whole narrative is that BVS is a trash, bad movie. Okay, if the Ultimate Edition would have been released, it would have at least been considered good. I think that if you talk about BVS Ultimate Edition, I think that it moves it up like a few notches, no matter what you think of the theatrical version. I feel like it moves it up um, a, a few notches. Um, Shin says, I loved Man of Steel and Zack Snyder's Justice League. I had issues with BVS, but it's not execution or storytelling. It's just some creative decisions that I didn't like. Cool. And, that's what I'm saying. Like, having that discussion is paramount and what we can really talk about, right? But I'm just saying when you are critical of a movie, right? But you aren't really saying like why it's bad or why you feel that way. You're just saying, oh, things like too dark or too edgy. And it's like, compared to what? Like, why aren't you watching each film and judging it on its own merit? Why are you comparing um these films to other films? Like, I don't understand that. Um oh snap. I think the chat kind of jumped on me because it seems like this was yeah, Leon of the Nuki said Man of Steel paid for itself. It absolutely did. It absolutely did. Like I said, all that product placement, yo. Yeah. Oh, yo. Oh my goodness. I love this comment right here. Leon Nuki said, arguing with Snyder fans about the details of movie making is like arguing with the 98 Bulls about basketball. Yo. We're gonna do it for last minute. Like, yo, you guys are literally like coming over here arguing with people that have like been through the ins and outs of all these things, yo. Like, we have a PhD in this stuff now. Heckron said Will Smith slap level achievement reach. Skywalker Johnson take over the Batman. Yo, I'm dead serious though, man. I'm dead serious. If we just gonna talk about like the way I felt when I left the movie, I was more entertained watching Justice League. That's crazy to think about, right? That's crazy. Oh my goodness, yo. Yo. Look. Oh my God. Okay. I see socks in here. I see socks in here, yo. I got my backup now. Socks in here, you know what I'm saying? You shout out to Socks Bulletin, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we got Osa Fresh in here. Yo, oh my goodness, yo. Yo, I'm humbled that all y'all even came up here, yo. Hey, Zod, yeah, Zod, no billion. Yeah, yeah, no billion. Yo, but look, man, I gotta wrap this up, man. Look, at the end of the day, I think that we had a prime example, right, of just what we're talking about, right? You know, us um us Knights of Snyder, right? We're in here, we're talking, and I love the discourse. I'm glad that people like that Anthony Chessman guy showed up. I'm glad because it shows you like what we're actually, going against, right? Like, we can sit here and we can try to have a back and forth, right? But at the end of the day, these people just want to argue. And that's what we've been going against this whole time since 2016. You guys aren't going to stop us. You haven't stopped anything, right? And you guys can keep being toxic all you want to. We just want to keep looking at y'all and laughing as we keep going and pushing forward. And we about to get this Snyderverse thing popping, yo. This Snyderverse thing is about to be popping, right? And then it's really gonna be bad because as soon as when the air cut is announced, I'm coming for y'all kneecaps. I want them knees. I want all of them. I'm collecting knees, backs, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Y'all gonna pay. Y'all gonna pay for it. Y'all like, because once the haircut comes back, because why else even release that? Why else even release the haircut? Right? Like, why? But no, look, much love to the chat show. I want to say thank you to all you guys that came and share this moment with me. I'm about to, nah, Shin, knees, backs, necks, you know what I'm saying, elbows, yo, Y'all know some people getting slapped on the back of their neck. I'm dropping more money on the back of their neck. I'm dropping cold cuts on the back of their neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, yo, no. When right, don't forget collect. Yeah. Look, um, when the haircut get announced, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Y'all about to be throwing fits, just like Shin say. Y'all about to be um. Hold on, socks. Y'all know I'm gonna have another conversation with my buddy after the Snyderverse gets restored. I'm gonna promise y'all that. I'm gonna have one more talk with my buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't wait. Yo, they gonna be crying, Cage. They gonna be crying. And at the end of the day, those tears taste wonderful. Which I think that I've been drinking this whole time. Leon of Danuki says heads, head and shoulders, knees and toes. Knees and toes. Facts, yo. Look, Eric getting announced, but no Batman sequel. Look, and not only are you not getting a Batman sequel, you also not getting a billion. No billion? Yo, appreciate y'all for coming through. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to be back next week. I'm starting to feel a little bit better now, you know, and I'm really looking forward to spending some more time with y'all. All right, I'm gonna be back next week. Um, much love to the chat. Much love to the Knights of Snyder, all the bots. You know what I'm saying? All the Muslims, right? The 40 people, all of us, right? The incels, it's just some people in their mom's basement, right? All of us, right? We all are gonna be eating good, yo. And I got much love for all you guys. I'm gonna get up with y'all next time. You know what I'm saying? Peace.